Helicopters are clearly a priority and an ongoing issue for New Yorkers citywide, and we have to address that with immediate and long-term solutions. In 2016, the city and the helicopter industry reached an agreement to cut the number of sightseeing flights leaving from the downtown Manhattan heliport in half, resulting in about 30,000 fewer flights per year. While this is an important step forward, it is beyond clear to me that it was simply not enough. We need to reform our helicopter industry now for the protection of New Yorkers' health, safety, and our city's climate. That's why, alongside several of my city council colleagues, including Councilmember Ressler, Brewer, Marte, and others, we are advocating for several pieces of legislation to address this problem from multiple angles. In the current era of climate change, we cannot stand idly by while having huge environmental justice issues right here in our very own backyard. It's 2024. We need New York City to lead by example on sustainability efforts and continue to be forward-thinking towards our climate goals wherever possible. Clearer skies and quieter lives. I'll say that again because you got some cheers. Clearer skies and quieter lives. I'm focused on accelerating the helicopter industry's transition to cleaner and quieter technology because we need to move from noise to necessity. My second bill, Introduction 27, would require the Department of Environmental Protection to install sound meters to monitor helicopter noise in impacted areas and provide monthly public reports. This data is crucial for not only regulating the industry, but holding them accountable. We know the 311 complaints go in, but most of the time, New Yorkers tell us they are unenforceable. Let's change that. The NYC EDC has told us that the helicopter industry generates less than $2 million in revenue for the city annually, merely a drop in the bucket of a $100 million budget for New York City. It is simply unacceptable for our communities to suffer these consequences of pollution and ridiculous noise levels just for the brief enjoyment of a select few, especially when especially when it's barely bringing any city revenue. Yes. We need helicopter reform now. Yes. I'm proud to stand here today with my council colleagues, Councilmember Ressler and Marte, and so many of our dedicated advocates from Stop the Chop New York, New Jersey, and environmental groups from across the city. Thank you all.
And so we together feel the pain of the helicopter industry each and every day. And I also want to shout out Councilmember Gail Brewer, who has been demanding accountability for helicopters for decades. And the extraordinary Stop the Chop Coalition. Let's give a Stop the Chop chant.
Yeah.
Stop the chop! 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 It is long past time for us to end the extreme noise and the air pollution caused by the helicopter industry in New York City. Just so the privileged few can get a faster path to the Hamptons or JFK, that is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. These folks should be in cars, or better yet, public transit to get where they need to go. There is no reason that these people should be causing such extreme disturbances in our communities day in and day out. As Amanda said, with 3,000 flights a month coming out of city heliports, wasting some 40,000 odd gallons of fuel, these helicopters are causing major environmental degradation in our communities. With one idling helicopter being the equivalent of 40 idling cars, that is a huge negative impact in our communities that we should be avoiding. And the noise issues are real. When you have chronic noise happening in a neighborhood, when it's happening before you, it can cause serious long-term health issues, serious cognitive problems. And let me tell you, I have neighbors who tell me they don't want to go to Brooklyn Bridge Park anymore because the helicopter noise is too bad. They don't spend time on the roof anymore because the helicopter noise is too bad. They don't want to have a drink on their stoop anymore because the helicopter noise is too damn bad. That is wrong. It is wrong that we are allowing, that the city of New York, that the city's Economic Development Corporation allows for these helicopters to operate at a city-owned property. We are encouraging these helicopter trips to just hang out over Brooklyn Bridge Park all day long. And I can promise you, you don't need the view from above. It is perfectly beautiful right down on the ground.
Imagine walking outside to enjoy the green space at the Battery, but hearing helicopter noise. Imagine thinking, I want to move to Lower Manhattan to be part of this vibrant, growing community. But once you look at an apartment, you hear this ongoing chip chop, chip chop, chip chop, and you realize, I can't raise a family here. I can't have a kid fall asleep all night with those helicopter noise going on non-stop. This is what we're facing. We're trying to save our sanity. We're trying to put people over profit. Because right now, these helicopters are destroying our community, are destroying our health, and we're trying to fight for environmental justice to make sure that people can have cleaner streets, better air, and better lives. And so with this package of bills, we're gonna make sure that people are not only going to the Hamptons, but they're not taking a TikTok video for 20 seconds while disturbing thousands of lives for 45 minutes. Imagine that. Someone is gonna look outside of this helicopter, take a quick photo, and people won't be able to work. People won't be able to study. People won't be able to sleep. So let's do the cost analysis of that. As Amanda Faria said, $2 million and a $106 billion budget makes no sense. We should do away with these choppers, either by moving to electric and only having essential flights for medical uses and other uses that are necessary. So, as a resident of Lower Manhattan, as someone that hears these chops, and it was quite ironic that there was a helicopter chopping when we started this press conference, it just shows what we go through every single day. And I know my residents of Southbridge, my residents of the financial district, my residents of Battery Park City is saying thank you, thank you, thank you, Majority Leader, for having this oversight hearing, because finally we get another say to put an end to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Council Member and Majority Leader Farias, and thank you all for coming. My name is Melissa Elstein. I'm the chair of Stop the Chop NYNJ. We're a grassroots nonprofit environmental organization that educates the public on the harms caused by non-essential helicopter flights over this area. We applaud the Majority Leader and her colleagues for the introduction of these 6 strong helicopter issue bills and the resolutions. We support their passage. The plethora of helicopter-related legislation being heard at today's council hearing demonstrates a huge groundswell of support for all those suffering from the negative effects of the seemingly endless air parade of tourist and commuter helicopters loudly buzzing over New York City. Unsurprisingly, Helicopter 311 complaints have skyrocketed as we can no longer enjoy a peaceful day in our parks, along our waterfronts, and in our homes. This happens without the frequent roar and vibration of these helicopters. Many, if not most, of our parks and waterways have become hellish helicopter highways instead of providing a peaceful respite from the busy city streets. We are now marred by this helicopter plague. They have been for too long allowed to unfairly externalize their environmental, health, and quality of life impacts to the rest of society. We know it's a health hazard. We know that burning aviation fuel contributes to climate change and air pollution. Given this climate crisis, and to all the city is doing to mitigate its effects, it's completely counter to allow these fossil fuel guzzling, non-essential helicopter rides over New York City. So we ask that these unnecessary helicopters are banned. This mode of transportation is wreaking havoc with our lives. It is time to stop the chop and ban these harmful non-essential helicopter flights now.
Yes.
Have been working on Governor's Island for the last 15 years. First as public school teacher, now running Billion Oyster Project, a nonprofit on Governor's Island. You cannot teach outside on Governor's Island. There's 172 acres. It's a beautiful place. It's a great high school out there. And every minute, we have to stop talking for 30 seconds. You cannot speak, carry on a conversation, or engage people in our waterways like we like to do at Billion Oyster Project on Governor's Island at all. Once a minute, helicopters take off, fly right by Governor's Island. It's deafening, and we all have to stop for 30 seconds every minute. And there's no other example in New York City when the wants of a few people impact the needs of thousands. There's nothing in New York City that's more obnoxious, more annoying, or more disruptive to our daily lives than being outside than the helicopter. So I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you all for coming out. thank you all for advocating for this. It's a hugely important issue, and I can't wait till the chop is stopped.
Everyone, good morning. My name is Laura Bernbach, and I'm here today not only as a representative of the Brooklyn Heights Association, but as an advocate for the many thousands of New Yorkers who are sick and tired of enduring relentless and inescapable non-essential helicopter flights. Brooklyn's waterfront communities have been plagued for years by these noisy and completely unnecessary intrusions into our parks, our public spaces, and our homes. In preparing this speech today and the testimony I'll give inside, I looked back through the files of our organization, and there's testimony from 2009, 2008, 2010 on the same issue. So the time has really come. And with the growing number of commuter flights to the airports and the Hamptons, as has been mentioned, the scourge has now spread to central Brooklyn, including the neighborhoods of Crown Heights, Flatbush, and East New York, to name only a few. We've heard about the statistics of the noise complaints to 311, but that's just the people who bother to complain, right? How many of us live through this every day? We don't even bother to call 311 anymore because nothing seems to change. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has reported that exposure to excessive noise can lead to a range of health problems, including stress, sleep disturbances, and cardiovascular issues. And our own Columbia University researchers found that people living near helicopter flight paths are at a significantly higher risk of heart disease than those in quieter areas. But we know noise pollution is not the only reason to eliminate these flights. We've already heard about the harmful pollutants that these helicopters spew into the air we breathe, exacerbating the already dire environmental challenges facing our city and keeping us from living up to our climate commitments and goals. We have to ask ourselves, why does our city government allow and even support what it is a clear threat to our environment, our public health, and our quality of life? If there's a convincing answer to this question, I certainly have not heard it yet. I'm so grateful to the elected officials here today, Majority Leader Farias, and a special shout out to Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, our council member in Brooklyn's 33rd District, for their determination to bring an end to what my fellow advocate, former New York City Parks Commissioner Adrian Benepe, has so appropriately called a plague. The introduction of these bills demonstrates that the priorities of these council members are truly in the right place, that they care more about the day-to-day lived experience and physical and mental health of everyday New Yorkers than the limited few who can afford a recreational joyride. We must end non-essential helicopter traffic in New York City today.